Hey guys, no, I did not just get another Predicta TV. This is one I got the other day that I did a very short video on. I want to take some time and look at it in more detail. And while putting it up on this table, I noticed something, that the picture tube is leaning back a bit. Although it may look like they could swivel on this joint, it's not. It's a fixed joint. This should be more up like that. So I think there's something a bit amiss in there. I also noticed this support arm slipped down. Let's see about the one on the other side. No, that one's pretty secure. So maybe this has just gotten knocked around a bit over the years. But something else I was wondering about. So this has some damage to the back painting on the front, or the reverse painted. So these screens are made of clear plastic. Unlike the 21-inch, which use tonite, these use something a bit different. It's clearer, it doesn't have any odor, but it's kind of brittle. I think it's an early type of plexiglass, maybe. But anyways, the whole thing is clear, and then they back paint it to give it that nice border. And it's flaked off there, which makes me wonder, between it being loose and there being damage, was this taken apart? Maybe it's got a replacement CRT in it, which could be a good thing. The 17-inch picture tubes were not really plagued with a short life like the 21s are. But that doesn't mean they last forever, so if it's got a replacement in it, that'd be cool. Now, the owner said that it had been worked on, and it was working, and then it just stopped. It has no power cord. I haven't looked inside. I certainly haven't tried turning it on. So let's take a look. But before I do, a few other brief things. Generally, it's in really good cosmetic condition, other than the stuff I just mentioned on the screen. Original beige paint. These came in red, I think dark brown, and beige. Beige seems to be the most common. And it's also, well, it's beige, so it's not uncommon to see them get repainted. This has a UHF option. That is not the original knob. Likewise, the other one I got recently with the UHF does not have the original knob, so I'm going to be on the hunt for those. I thought I had one, but it doesn't fit, so I'm also not entirely sure what the knob should even look like. But that clearly is a VHF knob, so I know that's not right. Alright, enough yakking. I'm going to take the back off. I just took all the screws off the back. I have not peeked inside. Let's see what we got. Well, it's all there. I can see right away there's one thing missing though. And it looks like I can see a little bit of work has been done. There are some new caps, like there's an orange drop right there in the middle. But still has the original cup plate, so this, and I see at least one paper cap. This clearly was not fully restored. I see the original electrolytic cap back in there, kind of what I figured. When people say something's been restored or repaired, I really never take their word for it. I can't get the back fully off because the UHF antenna option is installed, or hooked up. So there's a little bit of twin lead that goes through the back and attaches to here. So let me get that off. Oops, I misspoke. That was actually the VHF internal antenna hooking up to the VHF tuner. The UHF antenna, well, there should be something similar to this here, but it's gone. As is the AC interlock and power cord that would have connected in here. Alright, well, since the screw is missing, let's see what's going on in here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I said something was missing. Well, maybe some of you have spotted it. It is what should be down right in there, which originally was a dual selenium diode. It's part of the horizontal AFC circuit. I've had good luck replacing those with dual shaky diodes. You can get them in a TO220 type package and they just stick right in there. Otherwise, you can certainly use discrete diodes. Some guys use silicon power diodes. Those have a little bit slower response time, but they seem to work okay. Small signal diodes like a 1 and 914. I'm not quite sure they have quite the voltage rating, but potentially those could work as well. So, oh, we got a piece of paper down in here. I wonder what that's all about. So what I'm going to do is, I guess I'll bring this down to the workshop, but before I do, I want to test the picture tube and, well, I guess try powering this up. I got the CRT housing back off and I peered inside as best I could and I do not see a label anywhere, which makes me think this could very well be a replacement. Because normally there'd be a Philco, a prominent Philco label on the back of it. But I'm going to assume it is the original type CRT that came with this, which runs on a low filament voltage of 2.68 volts. If it's a replacement, it will probably run on 6.3. I should be able to tell by, if I'm wrong and it is a 6.3, then it should be rather dim. It is glowing. To know for sure, I'll have to grab a multimeter and see what the current draw is. Well, since I've got cutoff and perhaps have emissions at 2.68, and I do, this is probably a 2.68 volt CRT, so I don't think I even need to bother checking. And it must be pretty good if it came up that quickly. I've only had this thing on for a few moments. Very responsive cutoff and very strong emissions. And a pretty solid life test. So, all right, I think we're good with that. My workbench is kind of a mess right now with another project, so I'm going to do some perhaps a little foolhardy, which is to try to power it up. Here is the missing part. There's a date code, 1959, 26th week. Pop that right in here. Now, it should work without this. You should certainly get a raster, but I don't think you'd have any horizontal sync without it. And here is a cord. I've got a few thoughts on what the problem with it is. One, could just be the power cord failed, and that's why they couldn't turn it on. It could be that, for whatever reason, this part failed, but it's kind of odd that it's out, which makes me think, I mean, clearly somebody worked on this. They may have stuck some diodes in somewhere else. I'm not sure why this wouldn't be there. Another potential failure, there's a fusible resistor, or should be a fusible resistor back in there, which may have popped open. Or it could just be the power switch is bad. Or it could be the side works more or less, but it just has a lousy picture or sound or no sync or something like that. And when people say something does or doesn't work, that can be very subjective. You see stuff on eBay that says, oh, it works. They just mean you turn it on and the tubes light up, and that's it. As opposed to fully functioning, great picture, great sound, that kind of thing. So I'm going to pop that in and plug the set in and see what happens. One thing I don't like about these sets is there's no way to tell if it's turned on or off just by looking at it. So I've got it plugged into a PR57 so I can control the power there. So, put in current mode. I guess the set's turned on. And the tubes are lighting up. And we're drawing a reasonable amount of current. And it is going up as the tubes warm up, so there must be a B+ supply present. So the horizontal output tube isn't glowing, but yeah, it is too. But no vertical. I hope they didn't have the sense to keep this running. I don't see a visible line burned into it. I know the power switch works now. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's one of the most common failure points in these sets is the vertical going out. So I'm going to turn that brightness way down. You can just barely see it. Also no sound though. No crackle out of the speaker. Oh, there it is. We do still have an over-the-air channel 6, I think, but it seems like their carrier has gotten weaker. I thought maybe I'd be able to pick it up, even with just a little stub of the antenna. And now the raster kind of went out. Alright, so clearly we got some issues. So we have no vertical. The horizontal was starting to kind of freak out and oscillate back and forth, and then it just went out completely until I turned the set off, and then it came back. But that little test told us a whole lot of stuff. You know, the power transformer is good. We know the picture tube is good. We know the flyback is good. We know, generally speaking, all the major circuitries are fine. The vertical, that's a common issue in vintage TVs. So vertical output transformer, vertical oscillator, and output tube. The two plates down in here are a common failure point. Also, I have another CS. The set had the same issue when I got it, and I just had to replace the 6DR7 tube here, and that's all it took. So that is certainly something really easy we can try. I happen to have a spare good one handy. And for the other issues like the horizontal and all that, it could certainly be paper caps that are leaky, causing the oscillators to go a little wonky as things warm up. I used some clips to hook up the internal antenna, see if maybe we can get some reception now. And I replaced the 6DR7. Let's see if it makes any difference. I don't want to run this set too long. You may recall I was fooling around with a Predicta debutante. Yeah, we got reception. I was fooling with a Predicta debutante, and I was trying to adjust the picture, and a puff of smoke came out of it and it went dead. So I don't want to repeat that. One nice feature on these is you can fiddle around with the back and rotate the screen so you can still see it while you're doing it. So that 6DR7 did indeed help. Didn't fully get it back, but how about that? Let's see if we can tune this station in a little better. Adjusting the fine tuning down here. Oh, hey, almost got something. So, let's see. There's the horizontal hold control. I've seen that happen on some of these Predictas too. I think there's like when there's dead spots on the control, you hear that horrible sound and the horizontal deflection will collapse. and vertical. Not bad. Not bad for a set that supposedly wasn't working anymore. So all I had to do is replace a tube and, well, and hook up a power cord. Now this station being so weak, I knew it wasn't going to come in very well. So that's not so much the set not performing well as it is a weak signal. But nice, nice. Obviously it's a very restorable set. But right now, I've got something else up on the workbench you will be seeing shortly. So this will have to wait in the wings. And I'm getting that nice aroma of burning dust off of vacuum tubes as old electronics come back to life. I hope you enjoyed this peek inside of and first power up of a Predicta Princess with UHF.